Judd Weiss has spilled the beans on some dirt inside the Johnson campaign. Thank you for joining me on the 34th episode of the LAVA Spurt, Johnson Campaign Shenanigans. And make sure to hang out to the end of this episode for your chance to win a prize pack.
Welcome to the LAVA Spurt, the weekly offshoot of the lava flow. Channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Brought to you by my per-episode donors. Thank you. Here's your host, Roger Paxton.
Judd Weiss, the former running mate for John McAfee, was interviewed by John Sigurdsson of World Alternative Media, where he spilled the beans on some of the things that he saw in the Johnson campaign in 2016. Weiss is a former supporter, donor, and fundraiser for Gary Johnson, going all the way back to the 2012 campaign. He says in this interview that he supported McAfee in 2016 because he wanted to see the Libertarian Party present a cool candidate option for a change. I agreed with this, and I endorsed John McAfee as my second choice if Darrell W. Perry didn't get the nomination. You can hear my bonus episode of all of that at thelavaflow.com/bonus. To be clear, Weiss is not saying that Johnson is responsible for most of these actions, but that his campaign team certainly is. Weiss lays the blame for most of this directly at the feet of Johnson's very shifty campaign manager, Ron Nielsen. In the video linked in the show notes to this episode at thelavaflow.com/TLS034, Weiss claimed that Nielsen received over $4 million for his services. Now, after the video released, Weiss went back to double-check these numbers and clarified in a post on Facebook that, according to the FEC site, the total was actually $1,850,800, or a salary that is 10 times higher than what campaign managers of even larger mainstream campaigns receive. As the website The Libertarian Republic says, an article from the Politico, quote, describes Marco Rubio's campaign manager as the highest paid in an annualized salary of $198,000, compared to a total budget of $51.7 million for the total campaign. Hillary Clinton's campaign manager pay annualizes to $121,000, with a total campaign budget of $585.6 million. In comparison, the Johnson campaign raised $11.9 million. A staggering 15% of the campaign budget went to Nielsen's management entity. Weiss also makes the claim that the Johnson campaign paid off Chris Thrasher, McAfee's former campaign manager, to switch sides and join the Johnson campaign. When Chris left the McAfee campaign, he said he just needed a break, then pops up a couple of weeks later on the Johnson campaign all of a sudden. Thrasher and Johnson lost a lot of credibility in my eyes when he did this. Thrasher ended up getting over $30,000 from the Johnson campaign. At least now we know how much Thrasher's loyalty and principles are worth. It's rare that we can put a dollar figure on that for someone, but in this case, we can. The Libertarian Republic also said, quote, many of Weiss's other claims include that the Johnson Weld ticket paid convention expenses for attendees who showed up exclusively for the presidential nominating process and didn't bother voting on any other convention business. Though that sort of thing is difficult to trace directly, this is a common rumor among several party members in numerous states that they'd been offered their expenses paid or other financial favors to their state parties to attend the convention and vote for Johnson Weld. If the campaign did not pay for these expenses transparently in a way that can be observed in FEC filings, another possible source of these funds and their dispersal could have been through the payments made to Nielsen's management company. Campaign staff and advertising were, according to the FEC records, paid directly by the campaign, so it puts a solid question mark as to why Nielsen was paid so much compared to other campaign managers, and what that money went towards. Interestingly enough, an email has surfaced from an Ohio delegate at that convention. The email was sent between the first and second votes at the convention, and it's from the vice chair of the Ohio Libertarian Party, Scott Pettigrew. It makes the claim that the Johnson campaign pledged $20,000 to the LP Ohio for ballot access, quote, in the wake of Governor Johnson's victory in the nomination race. Even though this was mentioned in the email as, quote, no quid pro quo, it's clear that that was the motivation. The Johnson campaign was holding out a huge carrot on a stick to Ohio to help secure victory for the campaign. That is clear from the timing of this email between the first and second votes for president at the convention and the reward promised. A reward, by the way, that was never given to Ohio. Members of the state party even followed up with members of the Johnson campaign asking for the pledged money and never received a response. Imagine that. You can't trust a fucking politician when he promises you the moon. Even with all of this, Weiss did vote for Johnson over Trump or Clinton. I couldn't bring myself to do that, even not knowing all of this information at the time, so I find it strange that he could. I chose not to vote for the first time in my adult life rather than having to choose between the lesser of three evils. Does this mean the Libertarian Party isn't a valuable asset to the libertarian movement? Weiss believes the Libertarian Party is, quote, worse than useless, the way it's set up right now, referring to the LP as a cage match arena where libertarians fight with each other over positions of no power. Weiss sees positive action and progress being made in the greater libertarian sphere, but not in the LP, not with campaigns like Johnson Weld wasting money and resources with insufficient results for the greater cause, the movement towards liberty. Now, this is nothing new for the Libertarian Party, though. As a body, they will continue to pick the new shiny object that's placed before them. They've done it the last 3 election cycles, and I see nothing changing about that. As you guys probably know, I resigned from the National Party, and I resigned my lifetime membership to the Libertarian Party of Arkansas in disgust because of the results of this nomination, primarily because of Bill Weld, but also because of Johnson. I've recently been working with a principled party, the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, which is one of the few parties that did not give Johnson a majority and only had 1 vote cast for Bill Weld in the 2 rounds for him. The second VP vote was all 10 for Sharp. Johnson only received 3 votes total in the 2 rounds for president from New Hampshire. And speaking of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, I was reelected as the vice chair of that party this past weekend, along with my friend Darrell W. Perry, reelected as chair. Our entire executive committee was reelected, including friend and donor to this show Brian McQuaid as membership director, Gilletta Jarvis for secretary, and Tom Kershaw for treasurer. I guess that's a referendum on the hard work these guys have been putting in to finally make the LP&H the party it should be. As the home of the Free State Project, there is no reason the LP&H shouldn't be the strongest affiliate in the country, hands down. Also, don't forget about the new contest running through the month of March. The prize pack is a Pax Libertas Productions t-shirt from the PLP show of your choice, including this show, The ANCAP Barbershop, Free Coast Freecast, or even Resist the Empire. You'll also receive the Lava Flow tote bag and a copy of one of my favorite libertarian books signed by the author. All you have to do to be entered in the contest is fill out a simple short survey with 17 questions. It will take about 5 minutes of your time, and it's really going to help me out. And if you want to be entered into the contest, just put your email address in the last question. Easy as that. You can fill out the survey and get your chance to win this prize pack by going to thelavaflow.com/survey. Now, you're only going to hear about this contest on Pax Libertas Productions podcast episodes because I want to restrict it only to people who actually listen to the shows. So don't expect reminders on Facebook or other social media for this contest. The contest ends at midnight on March 31st. So make sure you go do it now before you forget. Again, that's thelavaflow.com/survey. Good luck in the contest. Until next time, keep striking the root.
Thank you for listening to The Lava Flow at thelavaflow.com. Don't miss an episode. Subscribe now at thelavaflow.com/subscribe. This has been a Pax Libertas Productions podcast.